Welcome to the second episode of The Supernatural World. For today's episode, we are going to be talking about the true story of the Annabelle Doll. Almost everyone has heard about the demonic doll named Annabelle. The story of Annabelle has had 3 movies based off of it, and there are millions of people who are terrified of the doll today. Annabelle is currently being kept inside a cage made of church glass, featured in the Warren's Occult Museum, where thousands travel to see her. But what is the real story of this doll, and why is the doll imprisoned? In 1970, a 28-year-old nurse received a Raggedy Ann doll from her mother for her birthday. Her and her roommate started noticing that the doll was constantly changing positions without any one of them touching the doll, and the doll started to even change rooms while both of them were at the house. Things started getting worse when they started finding random written notes around the house saying stuff like "help me, help us." Soon after that, their friend was staying over and was taking a nap when he woke up to see Annabelle placed on top of him. He had deep scratch wounds on his neck and stated that he felt like he was being strangled. The 2 roommates decided to hold a seance to talk to the doll, and they were contacted by a ghost named Annabelle, who claimed that she used to live there but died at the age of 7. Annabelle claimed that she enjoyed staying with the 2 roommates and asked permission to inhabit the doll, which the roommates gave. Things got a lot worse after this, with the doll getting far more violent. The Warrens then took an interest in the case and told the roommates that the doll was being controlled by an evil spirit and that he needed to take it back home with him. According to Ed Warren, the ride home was very violent and he had to sprinkle holy water on the doll just to calm the doll down enough to make it home. The Warrens then put the doll into a cage made of glass from the church just to keep it from escaping and hurting someone else. The doll stays in the museum to this day, but the terror of Annabelle has not ended. There was a man who visited the doll in the museum and he banged on the cage the doll was in. While driving home from the museum, he died in a motorcycle crash. There are many stories like this, and there was even a paranormal investigator who made fun of the doll only to have his car struck by lightning shortly thereafter. Thank you for listening to this episode on the real story of Annabelle. Make sure you follow the podcast and subscribe. Also check out our website in the description below. Thank you for listening. Also follow us on Twitter at TSWmedia12. Thank you for listening.